By a vote of 37-14, the bill passes.
This weekend, the Mississippi legislature voted to change its state flag. It was the last in the country that still included the Confederate battle emblem. Activists had tried to force the flag to come down before. In the wake of the Dillon roof shooting, and most recently after the Charlottesville tragedy.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
But the current national momentum around Black Lives Matter was finally a tipping point. We were in Mississippi in the weeks leading up to the vote.
What is the new Mississippi Youth Organization?
The new Mississippi Youth Organization is a collection of middle schoolers to college students all around the state of Mississippi who believe that enough is enough and that it's time for change. It actually was formed maybe the night after George Floyd's death. It was actually formed in a Wendy's parking lot in the middle of the night. There has not been a Sunday where I haven't seen the Confederate flag protesters out here, just sitting here, being protected by the police.
This week, I guess they decided not to show up because there are more of us than them. So I consider this a victory.
We just know that it's making them uncomfortable for us to be out here every Sunday, and we're just going to continue to do so until they don't feel comfortable ever showing that flag ever in public.
No justice! No peace! No justice!
I'm pretty sure there are people who represent that flag and say, hey, this is our heritage, but there also are people who proudly wave that flag because it represents their hatred. And for the time when they really were in control, and to be honest, those people still are in control.
As it turned out, the pro-flag protesters had moved their protest down the road. But as we approached them for an interview, they decided to start packing up.
Y'all be around next week?
We've been here 243 weeks. Bye.
We all know how you twist it. We're all stupid rednecks. We're all very well educated.
Yeah, I just want to know why
Most
you're
of us
out
have a
here.
college degree.
Can I just give you my number?
I tell you what, come to the city council meeting tomorrow morning.
You'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, we'll be there.
The Mississippi flag was designed to include the Confederate battle flag in 1894, 30 years after the Civil War. It joined a slew of monuments commemorating the losing side, and it signaled that although slavery was over, white supremacy still reigned. But changing the flag is just the first step in confronting Mississippi's racist history. Downtown Hattiesburg is home to a 1910 monument to Confederate soldiers. It sits just across the street from a newly erected statue of civil rights leader Vernon Damer.
My father, Vernon Damer, was a civil rights activist who was murdered by the Ku Klux Klan for registering people of color to vote.
What's changed since the era that your father was registering people to vote?
The chances are slim that anybody's going to murder you or bomb your house nowadays. In the 60s, it was a badge of honor to be a member of the Klan, and they have fallen out of favor now, even in Mississippi.
How do you feel about the fact that the statue of your dad is right across from a Confederate monument?
I would like to see the statue removed, but if it is not removed, I would at least like a true statement of what it represents, that it represents people who were losers. They lost the war, and I'm glad they did.
Trouble in my way. I have to cry sometimes.
As a preacher, I've always felt guilty about preaching to people's souls while at the same time ignoring the reality of their issues socially.
Anybody know it's all right?
Rev Chris Preston is a Mississippi native and an activist. He's optimistic that the Confederate statues across his state might soon also come down.
And I'm noticing the narrative has gone from, we will protect these statues, they are going nowhere, and all of a sudden it's, why are you trying to change our history? This statue's not bothering anybody. So the language tells you that people are giving up.
But taking down those statues requires legislation at the local level.
Preston, come on up, Mr. Preston.
We cannot afford to send it to the ballot, because if slavery had been sent to the ballot, I'd still be a slave. If your constituents won't let you do what's right, you need to re-examine your constituents.
all these Confederate monuments, they were not put up there for white supremacy. They had black Confederate soldiers too. There were black Confederate soldiers. If you don't believe me, you just do a little research. You know, it was a Civil War, and it wasn't about slavery. This was about tariffs.
I'm sure we hoped that we were offering a racial balance by placing the Vernon Damer statue out there. I mean, it was a beautiful day for those of you who were here. So it's with that in mind that I could offer a motion to take to the November ballot a referendum to remove all monuments from county property, regardless of the outcome of this motion.
I think it is an insult to even compare the Vernon Damer statue with what the other one stands for.
The board decided not to vote on removing the statue. Instead, they voted 3-2 to leave the decision to Forest County voters in November.
So why is change happening now when it wasn't happening before?
Brother Ahmaud Arbery being killed while jogging, and then Brother George Floyd being choked out in Minnesota. All of these things have got us now to where we are really in a serious fever right now, in the South and abroad. And that fever has us in convulsions. And nobody in the fever, inside the body of the fever, knows how to handle it because we hadn't been here before. Even if we lose some steam, there's some things that we've accomplished now that won't be undone, and we're on a different trajectory, and you'll never, ever, ever get the trajectory to change again.